Khan, you've got Genesis. But you don't have me. You are going to kill me, Khan. You're going to have to come down here. You're going to have to come down here.
I've done far worse than kill you. I've hurt you. And I wish to go on hurting you. I shall leave you as you left me, as you left her, marooned for all eternity in the center of a dead planet. Buried alive. Buried alive.
Hello everyone, and once again, welcome to Geekfest Rants. Today we have our second installment in our film commentary for the original six first Star Trek films. Today we are hitting Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, and please keep in mind this is the director's cut, the special editions they put out a while back. Joining me today is Steve Avona. Say hi, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
And also Brian Drew. Hi, Brian.
Hello.
Once again, this is a multi-part series, and we are hitting the second film this time, and the rest of them will be coming down the line. But let's begin today with Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. We will begin by hitting play now. And stand by for our visual cue, which should be coming up right about now. With the motion picture has been rated PG logo. And followed by the Paramount logo. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and James.
Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan.
Welcome back, guys.
Directed by Nicholas Meyer.
Good to be here.
It's been a long time.
The opening strains of James Horner's music,
Right.
which I'm very partial to. As much as I love Jerry Goldsmith, this not quite as iconic, but this works for me as well.
A little different than the last time we did this. There's no giant overture, but we are still starting with a little bit of music and a little bit of a Starfield.
Yep.
You can't do Star Trek without Starfield.
Nope.
Now, this is a great score too. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
I still don't think it's still not Goldsmith though.
No. But it definitely fits the tone of the film.
Yes, it does. It's not anywhere as romantic as
No.
Goldsmith's score
No.
was.
I think Nick Meyer's inspiration for this film was a Submarine film, Run Silent, Run Deep.
Right. Which
He really emphasized the nautical aspects of Starfleet and the combat styles of submarines with this film.
yeah, the nebula sequence is nothing more than a submarine.
Absolutely.
battle.
Plus, it also comes to mind like naval battles, like not necessarily submarines, but actual like ship against ship, like classical pirate stuff,
Right.
kind of like sneak
Yep.
up on them and that sort of thing.
Starfleet is definitely naval.
Yeah, without question.
Now, given the history of this particular film and where it came from, as it being a sequel to the first one, which was such a huge, big production, this was a little smaller, you
Yeah.
would say. And do any of you guys know anything about Nicholas Meyer in terms of you go from a big-time director to a not-so-big-time
Well,
director?
Nick Meyer had directed a few films before this, most notably Time After Time, the H.G. Wells' Jack the Ripper.
I love that
That
film.
was a fun movie.
Which is a great movie with Malcolm McDowell and David Warner.
And Mary Steenburgen.
And Mary Steenburgen. And he also directed a Sherlock Holmes film, The 7% Solution, which I don't believe is on DVD, and I've never seen
He
it.
directed it?
He directed it.
I didn't know he directed that.
wow.
Yeah. He also...
I know
He
he
started
wrote it.
out as I believe, a script doctor at Paramount, or did he...
I think he started by writing those Holmes knockoffs.
I
Those
think so.
pastiches of Holmes.
Mhm.
I think that's where he became known. Then that led to...
Now, do we know anything about the? It says there the screenplay written. Did Roddenberry have anything to do with this story?
I don't think
No,
so.
Gene was given a check that said, "You are now the executive consultant, and please go away."
Yes. And you can read the script, but any notes you give us,
You have
we're
no
going to
control.
completely ignore.
In the 23rd century, ladies and
Yes. Kirstie Alley.
gentlemen. What? Is this a Weight
Now
Watchers
this had to
commercial?
be
What is
this had to be a very jarring sequence for people the first time they saw
Yes,
it,
you're absolutely
wondering
right.
what in the hell was going on.
Well, not only there's several reasons for that too, because one was it was known publicly that Spock was going to die in
Yes.
this film. It was known months in advance. In
Right.
fact, there was an article in
Wall Street
the
Journal.
Wall Street Journal that said that Paramount was going to lose X amount of
Right.
millions of dollars because Star Trek's fan base was not going to go see the film.
Now, a couple of things off the bat. First of all, what ship are we supposed to be in?
Well, I
It's
think
supposed to be the
generic?
Enterprise.
a generic.
Is this supposed to be?
No, they call it the
Yeah, they call it
Enterprise.
the Enterprise.
It's
Okay.
supposed to be the Enterprise.
Off the bat, this looks very different than the last film.
It's lit very
It's
differently.
lit very
Darker?
differently. Is it the same? It's not the same bridge though. This is a different set.
It looks like a different set, but I'm just saying it looks.
I don't
a
think so.
lot
It's the same
No,
set.
different.
you think it's the same set?
Now, has the Enterprise theoretically been refitted again
No.
since the first film, or we're supposed to be in the same?
I
it's
think
the-
there's like a 7 or 8 year gap between
Yeah.
the first film and this one. Nobody ever comes out and says that, but
Right.
if you go by Khan's saying it's been 15 years, like you could kind of just do the
Right.
math based off of that.
Big
And I-
improvement on the graphics.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was definitely an improvement. Although there's still plenty of the, screensaver type
Yes,
things.
no
going on.
windows, but look at that. That is
Yeah.
sharp
that's much
and,
better.
and neat. And costumes.
Yes.
Off the bat.
Definitely
Much more
much
naval.
improved, much more naval. I read the novel of Star Trek II, and if
Great
I'm
novel.
not mistaken, there is in the scene between Bones and Kirk, there's a line where he says to Kirk, "You should never have given the ship away after Voyager."
Right. I
So
think he gave up command of
So
the
he
Enterprise
gave up command
again, like an idiot.
like a fool.
I like how even though the uniforms are pretty much the same, you could tell the different departments they
The
work
rank
for by the
insignias,
collars.
yeah, the collars
The
and the
different
little
colored
rank
collars.
insignias.
Also, we might want to say that this was Kirstie Alley's first debut on film
Right.
anywhere.
Really?
The first thing she was ever in.
And she looks damn good.
She certainly does.
Yeah. Very young.
And she
thin.
played she's supposed to
fetching.
be half Romulan, but she played a Vulcan brilliantly.
Really?
Yeah.
In the film, they mentioned
Savick
that?
is half Romulan.
Savick is half Romulan, and that's referenced in a scene that
Was cut out.
never made to the final cut, is not in the director's cut, but does exist, and we have seen it.
And it's in the novel,
Yes.
too.
And again, these are some of these jarring scenes before when I remember first seeing the film, it's like, wait a minute. What are you doing?
Are they
You
killing
can't-
Spock off this
you can't
quickly?
do
They're
it.
killing
Yes.
everybody.
But they said that was part of what they decided to do. They said they'd freak everybody out at the beginning. Do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have Spock look dead and freak everybody out. That way everybody would forget about it.
Right.
And
Nobody would be spending the rest of the movie waiting for Spock to die.
I completely bought this all the way through.
I believe Spock was supposed to die in the first act of the
Right,
the
which
film.
would kill
Kind
the
of
film.
like a
Oh my
kind of like a
God.
Janet Leigh
There's
psycho thing.
Another classic entrance.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a classic
I
entrance.
love that.
Silhouette
the,
Kirk.
The backlit prayer. This is William Shatner in
Bill.
his T.J. Hooker
Yeah.
His
mode.
DJ phase.
His
Yep.
T.J. Perm.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of a curl going on in there.
This is the do that he had for 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, with little variations.
Yeah. And he's still actually kind of svelte.
Oh, yeah, he looks good, though.
Yeah.
A little heavier,
Yeah.
a little fuller,
A little fuller, but not.
but
Well, it'd have been a couple of
it
years,
works.
too. I mean,
It
let's
still
be fair.
kind of works.
Yeah.
Ah,
Not
D.
his, not
Kelly.
his peak, but it works.
And as I think we noted briefly in our commentary for the motion picture, this film, they really embrace their ages. They have the theme of mortality running through this film
And the following one.
and the following film.
Yes. And even in up to the sixth film, the whole thing about, stop harping over the Klingons, let it go, you old bastard.
Right, right.
Oh, yeah.
It keeps going all the way through all his films. Yeah, the ship looks very different, much more colorful displays.
Mm-hmm.
But the basic design has not changed. at all.
The chrome is gone. It's I don't know what
pops
you would
more.
call it.
Mm-hmm.
It's warmer. It's a warmer. It's a little darker, but warmer.
And
If you
Michelle
could-
Nichols lost her fro in this one.
That's right. She's got straight hair this time.
Aren't you dead?
See, I think all
Yeah,
that was written in.
It's all to throw you off the scent.
It's very disarming.
This is a great scene.
And this is where the deleted scene is, right?
Yes,
Steve?
it is. It's a line of dialogue. It was in some sort of an electronic press kit. It's available on YouTube if you look for it.
And it discusses they discuss Savik's dual heritage.
Yes.
Right. And we hear about this is all about the Kobayashi Maru, the infamous test, at least in this film first time I hear of it.
Oh yeah, this is the first
Now,
time
this
it
is
was
the
ever
first time
mentioned.
we'd all heard of it.
That will return in future films.
Future films. This isn't a bad transfer for a standard definition DVD.
No, it looks well compared to the TMP transfer,
Yes.
which was atrocious.
Spock's makeup, I think it's a little more subtle here.
Yeah.
His
Still
stubble
heavy
is
on
not
the
as dark
eyeshadow.
anymore.
Yeah.
Obviously, if we go to Blu-ray, you're going to see a lot of stuff that we're not
Yeah.
seeing right now.
You can see in the original series Blu-rays, you could see the occasionally you'll see the line on Leonard Nimoy's the makeup line on his
On
ears.
his ears.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not all the time, once in a while, and you can occasionally see Shatner's hairline where
Kirk's
the rug separates.
living room,
Yes.
I guess this is, with all his memorabilia from
Yep,
ships.
and I could totally see this being
weapons.
James Kirk's apartment.
Oh yeah.
McCoy
One of the
making an entrance not as flashy as last time, more of a subtle entrance.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love both the scenes with Kirk and McCoy and Kirk and Spock separately. Really give you a sense of the great dynamic that they have. Something that the first film is almost completely lacking.
Yep.
Very unusual casual clothing
Yeah.
concepts.
Bones looks like he's wearing a codpiece.
And Kirk is wearing a Hugh Hefner leisure suit.
Shatner has his Texas Instruments computer there in the background.
Yeah, it looks like a Commodore PET, I think.
Yeah.
Luckily, it's out of focus, so you can't really tell just how
Right.
ancient it really is. But I totally whoever designed this understood the character. This is very much the kind of place I would see him living in.
Nautical weapons.
But almost understated in the way it looks. Like it's like there's nothing obnoxious about it.
Nothing garish.
No.
But it's kind of like it's almost like a single man, almost like a Playboy
Oh, it's
kind
a total
of design. You don't see a woman's touch in that room at all.
No. He's married one woman. That's it.
The Enterprise.
Yep. That's it. No, it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, for all the romantic silk scarf notions about all that stuff, the character really is married to that ship.
And I think it's just also worth noting that they introduced the Romulan ale and the spectacles. These things will be running gags throughout the next few films.
Yep. I think that's a Commodore PET in the back. I think they had those at my grammar school.
Armor. He likes armor and helmets. Uh-oh.
Well, he's a macho guy. He's got his gun collection.
Gladiator movies.
And it had been demonstrated that Kirk knew how to shoot a gun more than once.
Oh, yeah. This is a great scene, a great dialogue.
Yeah, it is.
It's like he's talking to his conscience.
Mm-hmm. The writing in this
McCoy's
is so
always been his
crisp.
conscience. Yeah, it really
McCoy and Spock are two sides of
his
Kirk.
head.
Yeah, they really are.
It's logic versus
Emotion.
Emotion, yeah.
And Kirk is what's in between. McCoy and Spock are the extremes of his personality.
No, insulting his collection.
He looked good in this movie.
Yeah, he did.
And I guess we're in San Francisco. This is
Yep, that
Starfleet
was San
Academy
Francisco Bay. I think the Golden Gate
territory.
Bridge is in the background.
Ooh.
And now we
Reliant.
very rarely get to see other Federation ships up until this point. And here we have the Reliant.
Again, to
First Officer Pavel Chekov.
to the
Chekov.
scale of something, not old,
Right.
nice and slick and new.
Funny story about the Reliant, which is the name of this ship. ILM, when they were designing it, they said, okay, we need another ship to go up against the Enterprise, blah, 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 blah. So ILM designed the Reliant, but they designed it. It basically looked more like a miniature Enterprise, but
Right.
then the cells were above, not underneath.
Mm-hmm.
But when Harv looked at the blueprint, he saw it flip the other way and thought that was what they wanted.
Right.
That's what they designed, and he signed off on it. So they're like, oh man, we have to redesign this thing so that it can be. So that's why it
Functional.
looks the way it does. Yeah, because Harv saw it upside down.
But the great thing about it is it's a distinctive ship from the Enterprise.
Yeah, there's no confusion with the Enterprise at all.
Now this was a little jarring too. All of a sudden, Chekov is in a different ship,
He's
and
on a
you're like,
different ship.
well, "What's going on?"
Well,
here?
now you know what.
Who's this guy?
Also shows the passage of time. Which
Exactly. You can't realistically expect that all these officers are going to be serving together on the same ship
forever. Yeah. But very cool, by the way, casting Paul Winfield in this movie.
Yes. Very. Some seriously good character actors.
Here's the
in this film.
infamous laser
Baby Besh.
device that shows up in a lot of sci-fi
Yep.
films,
Yeah.
including Airplane 2, which is a
Right, I think
Shatner film that he
Shatner-
makes fun of that
where he
art.
makes
That
goofs.
That was also
Why
the
don't they
Paramount Line.
blink in sequence, right?
Yeah.
blinking and flashing.
Yeah,
and
so
blinking.
these things are blinking out of sequence. What should we do? Get them to blink in sequence.
No tower. No tower.
Why the hell aren't I notified about these things?
BB Besh.
Yeah,
Merritt Buttrick.
he's dead.
He's dead.
They're both dead.
Yes.
Merritt, though, died very young.
He died very young. He did
AIDS,
have
right?
They had AIDS.
Yeah,
But he made it to a Next Gen episode.
He did. He was
did.
on Next Gen.
He did. He died not long after he was on Next Gen.
We're already establishing that he has a certain disdain for Admiral Kirk.
And authority in general.
authority.
And military. The military
yeah,
in
We're
general.
about to find out why.
He's your prototypical scientist.
Yep.
Yeah.
He must really be so happy when he finds out that Kirk is his dad.
Very, very well done, like backgrounds. You don't see any bland, straight, white. Everything is textured and colors and
Right.
very.
The first
busy.
film, there was no colors. It was all very washed out,
Yeah, very
antiseptic.
militaristically plain.
I think before we are introduced to our villain, maybe it's worth discussing how it came about that Khan was resurrected or was
Yeah.
reintroduced. Harv Bennett, when he was given the task of producing this film, screened all 79 of the original Star Trek episodes to see if there was a story that if there was something there that he could continue. And he came across the first season episode Space Seed, which introduced Khan, the genetic Superman played by Ricardo Montalban, and he thought that this guy would make a great villain. Someone kind of in the mold of Genghis Khan and other dictators.
Right. And Spock sort of gives you the direction to go at the end of the episode when he says, wouldn't it be fascinating to come back sometime down the line and see what had sprung from the seed you planted today.
Right.
And Spock says that at the end of the
And
episode. And I think Harv Bennett heard that and he was like, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Got it.
This goes horribly awry, and he's really pissed off at Kirk. And I don't think you could say enough about Ricardo Montalban's performance.
Oh, he's amazing. He's one of the all-time great screen villains.
It really is. And I don't feel, even with, his line readings or anything, that it's a ham-fisted performance at all. I mean, he's angry, and he has a right to be angry.
It fits the mood of the film and the genre because,
Yeah.
like you said, you can make the same argument for Shatner. He's over the top, a little hammy,
Right.
but it matches Khan's evil.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I mean, this is a man who's used to palaces and empires, and he's been stuck in this world for 15 years.
Even though they never turned it into any type of film or TV show or TV episode, I read the novels of Khan, the trilogy.
To Reign in Hell.
Very interesting, concepts of where this character got so weird and crazy.
Yeah, I've been meaning to read this.
I tried to read the first one.
One with Gary Seven.
Yeah,
I read that one.
You know what? They just brought in too much from like Gillian Taylor
It's
and all
too
these
much fanboy stuff that goes on in these novels.
much too much fanboy stuff. And here we have.
here we're-
Botany Bay.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're starting to, if you remember the episode that Steve was just talking about, you're starting to make the connection of who we're dealing with.
Yes.
Botany Bay.
But all Trek fans worth their salt know that Walter Koenig or Chekov was not in Space Seed.
Right. Walter Koenig was on the show in the first season.
Right.
How did they,
They never
correct
addressed
that?
it.
They know, they just,
Walter
They screwed
Koenig
up. They screwed up.
when Walter Koenig is asked this question at conventions, he'll say something like he had the swine flu or something, and he was not.
Yeah, Chekov was
could
not.
he also say, could you also say that, yeah, he joined the crew later and learned about
And
what
learned
happened.
about it, sure.
And I'm just
Well,
repeating what I learned.
Also, yeah, but that doesn't explain how Khan knows him.
Khan knows him. Never forget a face.
Never forget a face. The thing that happened, here's the thing. When Harv and Nick Meyer wrote the script, they had Walter do a Trekkie run on it, because Walter does know a tremendous amount about Star Trek.
And he's not a half-bad
Walter
writer.
saw that the part was in there. Walter knew that he didn't belong there, but it was a nice part. He kept his mouth shut. I don't blame him.
He has a substantial part.
I don't blame him. I would have kept my mouth shut too.
Absolutely.
Very good intro. You show him a little bit at a time.
Little bit of a
This is
reveal.
very theatrical. Having Nick Meyer being such a fan of Shakespeare really pays off in this movie.
The man is very literate and he really weaves in all those Shakespearean themes.
Yeah. Very bright. I don't know how he hasn't had a bigger career, Nicholas Meyer.
I don't either.
He's had a nice career, but
yeah,
here he is. And it's fun. It's hard to remember now, especially if you weren't around at the time. But Ricardo Montalban, by this point in his career, was basically just Mr. Rourke at Fantasy Island, and no one really took him very seriously. He was on this cheesy Aaron Spelling TV show, which had been very successful, and he was making a good living at it.
Making a good living,
but he had not done any serious work.
Right.
In
many
years.
His career as a leading man had definitely petered out by the 60s.
Right.
He was doing guest spots on. He was a working actor, doing a lot of guest spots in a lot of TV in the late 60s and 70s, and then he got the Fantasy Island gig. He was a known quantity, but he was not.
Yeah, he was well known, Ricardo Montalban.
I think he was probably as stunned as anybody else that this call came.
But you would never know it was the same actor playing Mr. Rourke. I mean, he is.
Well, that's
he
a
figured out how to
to
play Khan again.
It's a testament to his ability as an actor.
Yeah. He is amazing in this.
It's never explicitly stated in the film, but the actor on the extreme right, Judson Scott,
the Phoenix
of the Phoenix, is supposed to be Khan's son.
Yeah.
Which would explain his reaction to what happened.
The attachment to him later, and all
but
that.
it doesn't quite work with the timeline.
It doesn't at all.
I mean, even if
he's supposed to be 15, he don't look 15.
You don't look 15.
Looks like he's about 35.
Right.
Now, let me ask you something. I don't know if this is addressed later. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that if he's not his son, who else could get away with speaking to him the way this character speaks to him?
Yeah, he does. He's very frank with him.
Yeah,
later.
in a way that most people wouldn't.
Is there something about Khan's right hand that it's always gloved?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Because I could have swore that for some reason he never takes off that particular glove.
Oh, it's funny you should mention that. I think Nick Meyer said he deliberately did that so people would wonder why the glove doesn't come off.
So I guess it worked.
Yeah.
How do you keep an a-hole in suspense?
Admiral. This is one of the great movie villain roles.
Yeah, without question. And what I also love about it is that Ricardo Montalban and William Shatner do not ever physically share.
You're right.
The screen together.
And Shatner thought that was a mistake.
He did. They did their performances were not done off of each other. They were not live.
They never acted together.
They were together in the episode.
Oh,
the original
episode.
But they are never on the same set in this movie.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure Shatner, being the egomaniac that he is, was maybe a little leery of what he was going to be acting.
He's too buff. I can't be next to him.
I mean, we're talking. This is Shatner at the height of his egomania. This is probably the height of their hatred for him,
or the beginning of it.
Or the beginning of it.
Right. I mean, I have a feeling because this was a popular film. After this film is when Shatner started demanding the world.
Well, don't forget he had a very successful TV series going at the same time. He was on the top of the heap in a way he had never been.
Yeah.
Here you have a successful film franchise and a successful TV show that ran for a good 4 seasons.
At least.
So throughout Star Trek 2, 3, and 4, he's on this successful TV series demanding more money for the films, holding up the schedules for the movies because of his TV series. And these other actors, this was their only gig.
Right, they waited around.
They were,
They worked the convention circuit and they did Star Trek movies.
Mm-hmm. And aside from D. Kelly, who didn't care, who was just happy to do the Star Trek films.
He made good money, D. Kelly.
Yeah. The other ones were not happy at the state of their careers. I don't think that you could say that about Leonard Nimoy. Leonard Nimoy was doing things as well. At the same time, I believe that this was the year he did A Woman Called Golda.
Right, with
TV movie
with Ingrid Bergman.
With Ingrid Bergman, he was working. He had the one-man play of
and then he did-
Vincent.
and then he became a director.
And then
right
became a
after this,
director.
which we will get to.
We will get to.
Very soon.
Uh,
Oh, whoa.
Those are
That is-
really Ricardo Montalban's
that's his
pecs.
chest.
It
Nick Meyer swears.
Nick Meyer
There's-
swears.
there-
So does Walter Koenig. They
Yeah.
said
I
that's
think
his
they
chest.
should do a Mythbusters episode about that.
Well, I had heard the dude was like all about working out, so it's
Yeah.
like they didn't have to. He didn't have to work out for this role. Like he was already in
That
shape.
was just his own personal.
Yeah.
It was probably his own regime.
Now I know this scene gives a lot of people nightmares. For some reason, it's as disgusting as
It
it
is
is. It never
disgusting.
bothered me that
Well,
much.
Now it's less, but back then it was
But even
kind of
then,
gross.
I was 9 when this came
Yeah.
out. It didn't really freak me out that badly. It was gross, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, who's going to be screaming in this scene?
Yeah,
Walter Koenig.
it's in his
Walter.
contract.
You got to bring in Walter. I'm glad. It was good to see Walter get out of the navigator's chair or whatever he was,
Absolutely.
and get a chance to stretch a little bit.
I think of all of the supporting cast members, he was the one given those little moments more than the rest of them. 2, Star Trek 4.
5.
Five.
Captain Chekov.
Yeah,
Yeah, he said no. Nichelle gets the rawest deal out of everybody.
absolutely.
Nichelle got nothing as
Yeah.
far as I'm concerned.
And Jimmy Doohan, I think he had stuff to do. I mean, he had his
Yeah.
moments. George Takei, Sulu eventually got his own command.
Right.
I believe Shatner said to Takei once, well, if you take your own ship, you're not going to be with us. You're not going to have as much screen time. But he didn't care.
Which is stupid, though. Shatner was actually right.
Yeah,
An
but
imaginary promotion?
yeah,
I mean, come on, really?
yeah.
Well, I've heard of that being done a lot in show business where, sorry, we can't give you any more money, but we'll promote your character. You're like, ooh, a promotion.
Oh, here we go.
Ugh.
Oh, we should probably say real quick, since we're looking at effects work, this was, I believe, the first non-Lucasfilm project that ILM
Yes.
had worked on. They did New Hope, then they did Empire, then they did Raiders, and then they did this.
All right.
Should
And
also be noted that George Lucas was, and I don't know if he still is, a Star Trek fan.
That's right. I don't think you can underestimate the contribution of ILM.
I like the fact that Khan has an insignia, a Federation
Starfleet
insignia,
Delta,
half of it.
Yeah, how the hell did he get that? That's what I...
Must have been left on.
Yeah, it must have been.
And how does he know what a Klingon proverb? later
Well,
on in the
because
film,
remember
he
what
must
time-
have the library
remember he
of
read all
everything
those
that's
libraries.
happened,
That's
like
right,
to
he
catch up
did.
with history.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah,
why
I
he
guess.
might also know who Chekov is. They downloaded a lot of stuff from the ship, and they've been
Yeah.
studying up on it.
Yeah, they just screwed up there.
yeah, they made a lot of mistakes.
They made some mistakes.
Hey, you got to
The
retcon it
biggest
somehow.
boner of them all is when Scotty in Generations, Kirk dies in Generations, and he had already in the Next Generation episode Relics. Scotty said, "Oh, did Jim Kirk get the Enterprise out of mothballs to come and save me?"
Right.
Well, dude, he's been dead for 2 years.
Yeah.
He's-
Don't you know
he's
that?
a little drunk, and
Yeah, exactly.
Now here that was the scene George Takei mentioned where Kirk or Shatner, I should say, fumbled the dialogue talking about Sulu's promotion, and it should have occurred right before that line, and Takei was really upset with him for not. Apparently,
lines.
he fluffed the lines, and this was the little moment to say that Sulu got a promotion.
very similar shots to the first film.
think it's the
These are all
same
stock
exact
shots.
shots.
They are. Those are the stock shots.
Well,
stock
that
shots.
explains it, Carl.
Every shot you've seen in the Enterprise so far has been a stock shot.
Yep. They saved a lot of money on this. Harv
Right.
Bennett came from television. He knew how to produce on a budget.
The first film cost $45 million. Now, even if you take away $10 million for development costs in the second series and whatnot that didn't happen, you figure that movie cost at least $35 million.
Yep.
The Wrath of Khan cost $12 million.
Right.
Once again, you can see that in the introductory shots here of the ship, the internal shots. You don't see these big, vast hangars.
It's a lot
a
more
very small,
enclosed. Yeah.
I don't want to
Well,
say
some of that
TV
is
like, but
stylistic
it's
choice,
small.
though.
Yeah. A little claustrophobic.
The guy from Escape from Witch
Ike
Mountain.
Eisenman
Yep.
playing Scotty's nephew.
Yep. Peter Preston.
I don't see a lot of aliens in this.
Yeah. They cost money.
Yep.
Star Trek won unfortunately for Star Trek in many ways, Star Trek went right back to its roots. Almost too much. In terms of budgets.
Mm-hmm.
Gourmet. He's very gourmet, which means human, because I know that, of course. I mean, who wouldn't?
Now, here is a scene that we had seen long before the director's cut, because this was reinstated into the television version.
Oh, that's right. They did
Aired
a
on
couple of
ABC.
other little quickies here.
This scene between Kirk and Scotty's nephew,
Yep.
which establishes Peter Preston as Scotty's nephew,
Right.
which is not implicit in the theatrical cut.
Correct.
Right, and it explains that little glance and smile that Scotty was giving
Right, and
Kirk very
explains why-
weirdly.
And here
Why
we go.
Scotty's so upset later.
Right.
Yeah, because before, I mean, you understand Scotty would be upset for the death of a
Right.
crewman under his command, but he was like a
He was
basket case.
crushed.
The guy in the middle's laughing. He should stop. I don't appreciate that. He's laughing. He's like Private Pile.
James Doohan, I was at a convention once where he really decried the loss of these scenes. He really made it seem like his part was eviscerated. I mean, it's not. It's a nice little scene, but
You have 2 lines?
yeah,
I mean, I do sympathize to a certain degree with the supporting cast, but look, let's be honest about the original Star Trek series. It was a star vehicle for William Shatner.
Yep.
And to a certain extent, Leonard Nimoy.
right.
And Deke Kelly, due to the fact that everybody loved him, including Shatner and Nimoy, became
The
one
third
of the co-leads.
banana, yeah. The other ones, they were day players.
They were day players.
If as Shatner himself has said, if they were doing a 5-day shoot on an episode, they might come in for 2.
Right. Maybe.
They were. A lot of them weren't in half of the episodes.
Right.
There we go again. We're in the bridge now, the real bridge, not the simulation bridge.
Right.
It looks the same. It's very dark, a little smaller. It feels maybe because it's darker that it feels a little smaller.
I think they made it darker.
a little more crowded.
It was more mood lit, I think. And they moved Spock's science station from behind Kirk
Yes.
to Kirk's right.
A lot more lights and displays on the walls.
Yeah, the graphics are starting to look more like practical graphics as opposed to, like I said, screensavers and abstract
It's possible
designs.
that the reason why it's darker, it's so the background lights stick out more. You see more of those controls, and
Right.
they pop a little more than a nice light background.
This is Spock having a little fun with Kirk and
Yes,
McCoy.
I love the little touches of humor in this film. The lighter moments in Star Trek II and Star Trek III balance the heavy drama.
Yeah.
And then in Star Trek IV they go fully for the humor.
I have no problem with 4.
No,
I know a lot
not
of
at all.
I know a lot of the people, some of the purists get all upset with it. but
I have no problem
I
with
think
four.
we needed. I think Star Trek needed a break.
Absolutely. It was so heavy with
So we lost Spock, then we lost the
The
Enterprise.
Enterprise.
It's like
a lot of death at Kirk's son.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
we needed a little lightening up.
everybody needed to chill.
Now again, all these departure shots, are they stock?
Stock.
We're saving a lot of money.
It's funny because they
And there's no reason why you couldn't reuse these shots.
almost
Yeah,
look
yeah.
newer. They look a little sharper. Maybe it's the transfer of the film or
Maybe.
It's
something.
a transfer.
It fits. It fits the movie. I mean, it looks different to me.
It's the same shot.
I mean, I
Same
can
shot.
tell it's the same.
The color
Struck-
timing.
look,
The
That
color
little guy,
timing may be different.
he was in the motion picture waving at them.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
The
the
color
thing.
timing is maybe
If
a
you
little
if you
different.
slightly mess around with the coloring, it gives it a different look. A
Yes,
little
it
darker.
does. Not too much though. You can't mess with the look of the Enterprise too much. And this is from the end of the film. From the end of the motion picture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Harv grabbed everything he could. And he did it. He made this movie. This movie originally was produced
that-
out of Paramount's television
There's that
division.
turning shot
Yes.
you were talking about earlier.
Yep, from the trailer. Teaser, I mean.
This,
Yep.
is this is also the end of the film,
Right.
the first film.
Right.
Wow.
But this was produced out of Paramount's. This originally was going to be on television until Paramount realized that they had a really good movie on their hands and they decided to release it theatrically.
Oh my God.
Yeah, at the very beginning. They were very down on Star Trek.
Mm-hmm. But it's this film. Now, as we said in the commentary for Star Trek The Motion Picture, you needed Star Trek The Motion Picture to happen, obviously, for Star Trek 2 to happen. In my mind, Star Trek 2 is what allows everything that follows to happen.
Yep.
The spin-off series, you're going to have additional films. They're going to be produced on a lower budget.
Ooh.
Maximize the
You
profit.
can see through the
matte lines. Yeah.
you can see through the actual shot because it's not fully composed. And you see the not the matte lines, but the traveling mats.
Right.
The squares. You could see the squares moving.
That's the Genesis device.
You think he's trying to blink like a message, like
No,
Morse
he's
code?
he's completely
Help
under
me.
mind control right
I am
now.
being held prisoner. Do not listen to me.
I was always wondering if he knew, if he was under complete mind control, if he just knew what he was saying and couldn't stop himself from saying
Yeah.
what he was saying, or if he was just completely mind
Well,
wiped.
based on what happens to them later, you know, even Paul Winfield's character had a little leftover control, so he wouldn't go through with
Right.
the
Right.
mission. So maybe he has a little. See, he's blinking. He's blinking. He's trying to warn him.
There's some extra lines here that were not in the original version.
Yeah, there's more stuff in regular one.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
Don't say it. James T. Kirk. There you go.
I like BB Besh in this.
Yeah,
She was good. And you sort of believe that if Kirk was going to end up with someone, he'd end up
Absolutely.
with a woman like her.
they really sell it in their scenes together,
Yeah, they
that
do.
they have a history.
Yeah, definitely.
See, he still has his
He's
glove.
still got.
There's a reason for that. He's got a Luke Skywalker going on over
Yeah,
there.
maybe he's got an injury.
Another stock shot of the Enterprise.
Yeah. Now this is a scene also in the television version. We see this all in close up.
Yeah, and I think the
Casual
performances-
wear.
I thought the performances actually were much better in the in the close-ups than this. Kirsty's looking good, and Kirk notices.
I like the rapport that Kirstie Alley has with Bill.
Once again, very unusual casual wear.
She was a hard act to follow. Robin Curtis
Eh.
didn't do it for me as
No,
Savick.
no.
A very bland
Yeah.
performance.
Now, why did she not come back?
I don't
Money.
Was it a money issue again?
Which
She
I mean,
wanted too much money.
if I'm not mistaken, the next film she did was Runaway with Tom Selleck.
Yeah.
And I know she did the TV movie A Bunny's Tale as Gloria
as Gloria
Steinem.
Steinem,
Yeah,
right.
the Gloria Steinem.
And then she
story.
did North and South, which she was amazing in.
Mm-hmm.
But North and South was after
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
She just wanted more money than either that or I don't know.
Maybe she didn't want to get pigeonholed as a Star Trek actress.
Yeah.
I mean, if you had seen where the careers had gone of some of the supporting cast members, you might be a little
Leery.
or even Shatner.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a guy who was doing regional theater out of his camper
Right.
after
the series got
after the
canceled.
series ended.
But
So
William Shatner had a nice career before the
before,
original.
yeah, absolutely.
And he ultimately built himself back up. I mean,
yeah.
Was he ever was he ever an A-list actor? No.
No. In the interim between the original series and the motion picture, he was the king of the TV movie. He every year he was probably in 2 or 3 TV, horror, 30,000 feet.
Right. He made some awful.
But
By
some
his
good
own
ones
admission,
too.
though, he said he took whatever was offered. He needed to pay
had
the
a
bills.
family to support.
Yeah.
He did game shows. He did whatever had to do.
But from the moment Star Trek: The Motion Picture came out, I don't think he ever worried about money ever again.
No.
They're building the tension here of Reliant is getting closer, and these guys don't know what to do.
Right. This is added pretty
Yep.
much. Just a lot of this has been added for the director's cut.
This is extra.
I mean, that's the kind of thing Kirk would do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know?
This is
It's a
Kirk's
Kirk
woman.
move.
Yeah.
I love this scene.
Okay, here's what I
Yeah.
love about this scene. You see that thing behind Spock, that mirror?
The infinity mirror. Yeah.
I go to a Thai restaurant that has the same mirror, and every time I look at it, I want to steal it and take it home because it reminds me of this. But I
Do you
think
know,
I'll
for-
get arrested probably.
I was probably only maybe about 5 years ago where I realized that the mural to Spock's left
The Idic.
was the Idic.
The Idic symbol. Yeah.
I don't know if it was because the transfers got better
I think
or
it
I
was.
just noticed.
Oh,
it.
No, I
wow.
think it might have been the
I
transfer.
never noticed that the beginning of the conversation takes place in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I gotta find out where the guy got that mirror.
Mm-hmm.
This is an important scene
Yeah,
for the two of
this
them.
is going to be referenced later.
Yeah, it speaks a lot about what they mean to each other.
Yep, the dynamic. Yeah. This is what sets this apart from the motion picture. These human moments,
Yeah.
and the fact that they have a history.
Yeah.
And this is Spock at peace with himself.
Right.
No longer tortured.
Right.
Right, no longer tortured.
It's a slightly similar costume he's wearing also when he's introduced in the first film. The black robes.
He's wearing
type
it.
of-
It's his death robe.
Yeah.
It's his burial robe.
Yep. You'll be seeing that again.
You'll be seeing
in the
that
next
again.
movie.
I wish we could see more of his quarters to see what kind of weird crap he's got hanging on the wall.
I wonder if his what was his musical instrument
That
called?
lyre.
Lyre.
The Vulcan lyre. Remember what was it in?
The way to eat.
I'm stepping into Eden. Yeah, brother.
I cannot watch that episode.
Ouch.
I
That
can't.
may be that and Spock's Brain are the two worst episodes of the original series. Oh, and the
And the
Children
Children Shall Lead.
Yeah,
Ugh, I get chills. I can't even watch the Blu-rays.
we should watch them. We have to get drunk first.
Carlos will do it.
Attention, everyone.
Oh no! What were the odds?
Here
of
we
that?
go again.
What were the odds that was going to happen?
And you're the closest ship.
And
we
then,
know
of
the
course, yeah,
procedure.
the only ship in the quadrant. So.
It just so happens that Khan escapes
His area.
SETI Alpha when Kirk is on a training mission. It just,
Luck of the Irish.
luck of the Irish.
Say something witty. There we go. I apologize to everyone wearing a red shirt in advance.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Unfortunately,
a lot of people-
everybody's wearing red shirts. Oh, bye. It's
Now-
the same effect, but a little
different.
better, a little
Mm-hmm.
flashier.
Okay, here he's going to give him some lip.
Whoa!
I think the character's name is Joachim.
Yeah, Joaquin. I guess.
Joachim.
Yeah. Now this is obviously just a complete redress of the Enterprise bridge.
Right.
They pulled the panels out and moved them around to make it look like a different ship.
Judson Scott also played a role on The Next Generation. He was a Romulan.
Was he?
Yep,
And he was in the original V.
that's right.
Oh wow.
Now the bad guys have, I guess, executed a lot of the crew
Yeah, I
of
think
the
some
ship,
or they've
and they're wearing-
marooned them
They marooned
on
them on
City
City Alpha
Alpha.
5.
Yeah.
and they're wearing their clothes.
Yep.
Which theoretically, if they maroon them, wouldn't they be rescued after the
Well,
movie?
they say that at the end of the film that they're
Oh,
going to
okay,
pick up
cool.
the crew.
Forgot about that.
I would have thought Khan would have executed them. He executed the scientists,
Yeah, the
Scientists, yeah.
scientists. So.
but he was a lot more pissed off when he did that.
Okay. Michelle Nichols looks a little older.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the hair, but she looks older. And the captain's chair seems to have that leg restraint, but it doesn't move here. It just kind of stays up.
Well,
Looks
there's
more
no
like an
reason to use
armrest.
it right now. They're just in a leisurely course right now.
Now we
Everybody
have
in my quarters again.
a Kirk, Spock, McCoy scene that really evokes the original series.
Yep.
And some additional dialogue that's not in the
Exposition.
theatrical
Exposition.
cut. Oh, yeah, a lot of exposition.
Exposition.
But this scene, more than any other, really gives you the idea of the dynamic between the three of them. Anybody want to talk about the use of CGI here? You guys are a little
Yep.
bit more...
Yeah, I guess it's very in its infancy.
It's
the
in its
first thing.
It's the first one.
First time in motion picture history.
Wow.
By Pixar, no less.
That's
Right?
right.
Pixar
Really?
did this.
Mm-hmm.
The Genesis wave tape? Yeah.
Yep.
Back when it was still a Lucasfilm property.
And these effects were used heavily in the trailer.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the first CGI.
I can't imagine how long it took to render
Oh,
this
I
stuff.
can't either.
Computer's the size of our house.
Even now you see the widescreen version, the displays on the right and left of the image aren't real.
Right. So this is all CG right
This
here.
is all CG. And it looks damn good.
Yeah.
Now I wonder if now is this supposed to be a computer generation?
Yeah,
of
this is a
the
simulation.
Genesis effect?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
never happened before. This is a simulation.
Because it wouldn't surprise me if they did it for real, which they eventually do in other films.
Mm-hmm.
If this is what they would use as the final product. Do you know what I'm saying?
No.
No,
You think they would be better? Or you just don't understand my question?
I don't understand the question.
Yeah.
See how good this looks?
Yes.
Okay, this is supposed to be a computer a simulation of how
Right.
the
Of
Genesis
how
device
it would
works.
how it would work. Right.
However, when they detonate a real one and a planet actually goes through that process, would they use the same footage and tell you?
well, they
this
don't.
is-
They don't use it
That never
when it
happens, so-
actually happens at the end of the film.
Yeah, because the Reliant just blows up.
But I'm
Right.
just saying, the quality is good enough, I think, to make the audience believe, okay, now we're doing it for real, and it's this good. Like the technology
know.
is this good. Here we go again.
Here we
It's
go.
the typical logic versus
This.
emotions.
See, like Steve said, this is a classic original series sequence between
Yeah.
the three of them.
And Kirk
But you
is
know
in
what?
the middle, as usual.
McCoy takes it up a notch, where Spock is just stating the obvious,
Right.
and he's getting all upset about it. Oh, he does have a pinky ring. This is new.
Also from the ABC cut in
Yep.
1985. Yeah, all these cuts, by the way, are from originally from the director's cut that Nicholas Meyer put together in 1985
Right.
for its broadcast on ABC.
Right. And I'm pretty confident that none of the scenes that appear in this DVD are we all saw them in the ABC version. I
Right.
don't think there's anything new,
No, I don't think so.
completely new.
Once again, the internal sets, the captain's quarters, everything is darker. A lot of wood colors, browns and tans. They went for that look.
Much
Maybe
more-
it's just to make it look like a ship.
More militaristic. I don't know.
Well, no, like a classical, 15th century ship.
Mm-hmm.
They go crazy on it on Generations, where they actually have wood paneling. It's almost like you're back in the 70s.
Well, that's like a whole nother ship. The way that the set was lit.
And here comes the first confrontation with the Reliant.
Yep.
It almost looks like a shark coming at you.
It does, and it really, Meyer really ramps up the suspense
Yep.
in this scene.
But
really,
half of it, I say, it's the music. The music
Oh,
is
yeah.
getting you all riled up.
everything, the music, it's a slow burn.
Yep.
And
And
the
then-
editing.
yeah.
It's a back and forth.
Right. And it's not a battle of any great length. It's just, they shoot and they do, and then,
Right.
Which
5
again,
minutes later,
it's
they
very classical in
Yeah.
terms of
Very naval.
two ships get next to each other, they
Right.
unload
And
their
fire
weapons,
broadsides.
Right.
and see who can still move,
Right,
who's still
exactly.
standing.
Exactly.
It's not a super, flying dogfight
Star
type of
Wars
thing. No.
thing,
Yeah.
right?
Star Wars
It's-
is the Air Force. Star Trek is the Navy.
It's cannon fodder.
That's a great analogy. Yeah. Star Wars is dogfighting.
yeah,
right.
Air Force.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is two ships.
Yeah,
passing.
two firing
big,
broadsides. It's
bulky
like- yeah,
ships.
yeah.
Like two
Yeah.
pirate
They're all
ships.
capital ships. They're big ships. It's like Star Destroyers are in the Star Wars universe.
Whoever has the most people alive
Yeah.
at the end wins.
It is very cold
In space.
in space.
There you go.
And I think that's the first new shot of the Enterprise in the
I
movie.
think you're right. Yeah.
Wow.
This is damn peculiar.
Yeah, they don't know what's happening, so they're like just a little suspicious.
But he's not
And
as
not
suspicious.
suspicious enough.
But
Yeah,
he's-
exactly. Not as much as he should be. As he says later, he gets caught with his pants down. But he more than makes up for it.
Yep.
I mean, right now, but they should have had their shields up right now.
Right.
Yep.
But their actions are specific to Khan knowing how they react.
Mm-hmm.
So he's doing everything so they don't react that
Right.
Right.
Send the little message. Now there's no way.
way. Right. Once you see the enemy shields go up, you know you're
now
in trouble.
but it's too late already. So he's going to get some broadsides
There
in.
you go. Classic shot right there. Khan screaming
Yep.
fire.
Mhm.
In the trailer.
And he's hitting all the right spots on the
Right.
Yeah,
ship.
destroying the Enterprise's
He's
engineering
going
section.
to engineering, after engineering. And we see the emergency bulkhead starting to close all over engineering,
Which
like
I
a
always thought was
submarine.
cool.
It's very
Yes.
submarine-ish.
Yes.
I know, yeah, but it just says like we're losing atmosphere, man.
Yeah.
The ship is hit really badly.
Once again,
This
I
is
think
the
they're
blow
just
that basically crippled the Enterprise
Yep.
permanently.
And now is that Preston? I think that's Preston going up on
the
the
ladder.
ladder.
a lot of camera tilting to simulate them hit and being pushed sideways.
Right. Oxygen.
The
Oxygen
oxygen
masks.
tubes they're going to attach to the chest plates.
Oh, that's right. I never realized that the oxygen goes right into the.
Yeah.
Classic Scotty, everything's
Yeah,
broken.
everything's
Give me,
broken. I
give me a
can't
break.
fix it.
Except it was actually a little more scary now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's wearing an oxygen mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See? They knew exactly where to hit us. So those shots,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Well, those shots hurt the Enterprise so badly that the ship never really recovered from them.
That's right.
and when you consider the ship's fate come the next film,
That's what I mean. The ship
That's
never
exactly
really
what. Yeah.
recovered.
it's boom. There
The
you go.
Enterprise got hit once in the next movie, and that was the
And that was the
fight
end of
back.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
Another classic shot right there of Khan getting close to the state.
He's
to
almost
the
in
camera.
a state of bliss.
And this is very much like the opening shots of the film for the simulation of being under
Right,
attack. They're
right.
reliving that attack practically.
well, he's kind of in the no-win situation right now.
Yeah.
They're coming for a second shot.
I think it's important to note, and Nick Meyer has explicitly said this, is he's always planting seeds early on that are going to get paid off later on. That's what he does.
Here we go. Now he's going to find out who the heck is after him.
I love Kirk's reaction when he sees it. I mean, he's just so dumbfounded.
Not who he's expecting to see.
No.
It's almost like the fact that he's an admiral, it's a bigger insult to Khan. His rank is,
Khan
a bigger slap
Khan
in the face.
he's like, Admiral.
He
You're
couldn't
an
believe
admiral
Kirk got
now."
promoted.
Yeah. He sees his life is going on and succeeding. Just the level of sarcasm in his voice. I would love to see the raw footage of Shatner or Montalban reacting to a PA or whoever was doing the line readings.
Right.
Just to...
I wonder if Shatner probably had Montalban's line readings.
Yeah, I don't know who did it first. Who shot first.
Wow. Khan is like playing with a mouse right now. He's like hitting Kirk. He doesn't want to kill him. He wants to play with him before he eats him.
Now, Nick Meyer said that the secret to directing William Shatner was to make him do multiple takes. Shatner might do the over-the-top Kirk in the first take, and Meyer would wear him down, that by the fifth or sixth take, he'd be giving a much more naturalistic performance. And Meyer could get, Bill, I just, with some coverage here, we just need to, wear him down. And that's what he said was the
So
secret.
he would just read the lines.
Yeah, natural. I mean, there are times when that bombastic, over-the-top line reading is called for.
Right.
And there are times when he needs to be more understated.
And he is.
Yeah, in this film, definitely.
Here's a typical.
And the next, and in 3.
And in 3.
Here's typical Kirk. He's scrambling for a way out of this mess that he's in.
Mm-hmm.
And usually the problem with Khan is that because he's older, he doesn't know. Like, he's got a great brain, but he doesn't move as fast as Kirk can because of the difference in times where they come
Right,
from.
absolutely.
He
And
can't
that's
adjust
what gets
fast
us,
enough.
does him in later.
Oh, this is what does him in now, too.
Yeah.
He doesn't know these ships as well as Kirk. That's the only reason they get out of this.
Mm.
And the spectacles, which I love.
Damn.
William Shatner, I believe, was 51 when this came out.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
So is Leonard.
And so is Leonard. They both just celebrated their 80th birthdays.
All right, they're about to send the codes to lower their shields
Lower
without
their
him knowing.
shields.
He doesn't understand that, so he's not even expecting it.
Right. I love how he delivered that line.
He's stalling for time.
Yep. I see your point.
We see also the open flap of the uniform, which gives it a little extra
Dramatic.
little flair,
Dramatic,
Yeah.
yeah.
little rugged flair.
This is my favorite line reading of the movie.
Here it comes.
No emotion.
Understated.
And
You know he's going to mess him up.
there goes the code. And the
There go
ship's
the
shields,
shields.
There go the
shields are going
shields.
down.
Raise them.
I love the panic.
Yeah. Look at him. Uh-oh. I can't. Oh, he's flipping out.
You're going to hit you
The buttons,
hard.
too many buttons, too many
Yeah,
buttons.
too many flashing lights.
And his
They're
turn.
blinking and they're flashing.
Flashing and blinking.
Boom. And lots of
They
debris on
really
everybody.
mess him up.
Sure. Gobbledygook. We love it. Just keep saying it.
Technobabble,
There you
technobabble,
go.
technobabble.
Exposition.
Again, very nautical looking
Oh, this is,
passes on each other.
Khan is Ahab. Kirk is his white whale.
Oh, totally. Absolutely.
Now, each ship has sustained
Now
plenty
they're
of
on an
damage.
equal footing.
Yeah,
Right.
sort of.
Now it's time to play hide and seek.
Right.
They're just basically buying enough time to figure out what to do next.
Yep.
Now, here's a scene that bothered me. Did Scotty have to stop here on his way to sickbay
Yeah,
to show
especially
everybody his
No,
nephew?
it's a dramatic. It's
I
a
know.
melodramatic scene.
It's true.
Yeah.
It made no sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, could Kirk gone down to engineering just to check
I
on the
don't know.
status?
It's
and
just.
see him?
I think it's just dramatic.
This is cool.
effect.
You see the big scar on the side of the
Yeah.
ship and the top there. Sick bay full of people dying. Very weird looking because sick bay is very antiseptic, and cold, and now it's like full of bodies.
blood and guts.
So in the unspecial edition, this is just another crew member. We're led to believe.
Yeah.
he just happens to be young, so Scotty feels something.
Yeah, there's
good,
no
something emotional.
all
attachment.
references to their relationship have been deleted.
So they treat it more like a very ambitious
Just-
young
yeah, just
crew
Scott-
member who wants to make sure the ship's okay. Blah blah blah. And it also gives Kirk the blood stain on his
Yes.
Right.
on his jacket,
More dramatic.
which
Jimmy was really good here.
Yeah, he was.
and he's got a nice little burn on his face too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now was Scotty on Space Seed?
Yes.
Was he what?
In Space
He
Seed.
was in Space Seed.
Oh yeah. No.
Remember, I'm not up on Milton.
Right. 'Tis better to rule in hell than serve in heaven. I don't know if you noticed it, but on the Botany Bay there, there was Paradise
Oh,
Lost
yeah.
is on the bookshelf.
Oh, I just noticed the belt buckle is similar to the insignia that Khan has.
Right.
Yes.
But I don't remember there having belt buckles in the original.
They didn't.
No.
Yeah, I guess that's how you can edit your way out of that. He never mentions anything
Yeah.
specific.
Yeah,
it's very
They
generic.
they snipped it. No one would have ever known.
Now-
But every little moment that's added back into this film, for me anyway, is not a throwaway.
No, I agree.
Now, wasn't McCoy at one point also wearing the red uniform?
Yeah,
McCoy's got his own
he's
medical.
got his medical.
So this is like his scrubs, kind of.
Yeah.
Because the rest of the crew don't change to more casual.
Well, he even had in the original series, he had a
The
tunic
tunic.
for
Yeah.
sick bay.
Right. He had the away party shirt and then the tunic.
Oh, nobody's home.
Nope.
They're
If
those
you-
damn blinking lights, Carlos.
If you like to leave a message,
Yeah,
please
right.
dial 1 now.
It's a weird set.
It is a weird set. I was thinking that.
It looks kind of small too. You know, again, I guess it's the budget of the film. They can't go crazy with the humongous matte paintings. Even the matte paintings, I guess they could have done, but they're just not working.
I still think the models are great.
This is the battle damage
Yep.
decor. I can make a hat. I can make a tree. Oh wait, that's another movie. Crew members are cleaning.
I was
the
going to
mess
say, I never
behind
noticed
them.
her before
They're scrubbing the
Windexing her
monitors.
screen. Barely, sir.
Barely. Reminding him of the obvious of every episode: do not send the most important people on every away mission.
Yeah, I mean,
That's what they
that is a
did.
basic flaw.
Of the original series,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Kirk should never have been down.
That's why they have in Next Gen #1. Number
Right.
1, you go and throw yourself. off.
Although they ignored when it came to the
Oh,
next
yeah.
generation
You gotta
movies,
send
though.
Patrick Stewart
You
down.
said
Right.
Patrick Stewart,
That was another great little dig between Spock and McCoy.
right?
Silhouette space station. Not
Yeah.
bad.
The transporter effect is different.
A little
from
purple.
The motion picture.
A little flare.
Like, they move now too.
Yet another costume change
Yes,
now.
that's right.
A little more, I guess, cold weather gear.
I
Yeah.
really couldn't stand the transporter effect in the Abrams film, by the way.
I thought it was alright. It did kind of look like spider webbing.
I'm sorry. I'm going to take little digs wherever I
We
can.
will save that for 2020 when
We do the commentary for that one.
film. I love the collar. It is gigantic.
It's Shatnerian.
You will respect my collar.
At least the away jackets are a little bit more substantial
I was
than
just
the
going to say
motion
that.
picture.
This is more what I imagined
Yes.
they would take. You know, it's probably full of medical supplies and
Right.
emergency things.
Right,
as
and it looks a
opposed
little
to-
warmer.
Right. No, no dentist tunic on the other one. Look, she's got tools and stuff
Yeah,
and
pockets and
Yeah, but there's actually some function to it. There you go. That's another shot
Bill.
from the trailer. The
Yeah, I love that
introduction. You
shot.
see his face.
I'm gonna have a little
And,
jarring
look
moment
out for the rats.
for Bones right
Get
here.
scared of rats and mice.
Well,
and
he's
This
gonna-
was a nice touch doing
and
this.
typical suspenseful walk into problem.
Yeah, but not for Star Trek. This was different. For,
yeah,
this was good for
they
Star
didn't.
Trek.
You get a little jump here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little startling. We've seen it like 75 times, so we know that hand is waiting for him. And hand on the face.
There you go. Dead bodies.
And he's got to touch it. That's another nice shot of him turning.
He really tortured them, but good.
Oh yeah.
Funny how they do blood. It's very, like almost neon red.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't look realistic.
I wonder if they purposely make it look unrealistic so it's not as
Offensive to
right.
people.
Offensive,
So
yeah.
it's a little more
Yeah, maybe.
play. It looks almost orange. It's so
Yeah.
the colors.
They don't linger on it either.
Right.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it looks exactly like it probably would in real life.
Here
And
we
this
go.
was PG, I assume.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know if any of the films were.
This is a cool
PG-13.
shot. Him losing his cool and just punching it,
Mm-hmm.
not caring that he probably just cut his fist.
He's James Kirk.
Exactly.
Hey, if he can't hop over a hood, he'll punch something.
Sir.
I think this is the first time
Creatures
in our bodies.
in our heads.
I think this is the first time Kirk has ever referred to one of the supporting characters by their first name.
He called him Pavel. Right?
Pavel.
Yeah.
He called him Pavel.
Yeah, I think Walter's wearing a rug there.
It was horrible.
What do you think?
I think so.
Yeah.
Now that we know he's
Yeah.
been doing it for years.
Wait,
What?
I forget. How does he have control of himself? Is he faking it? I forget.
He's faking it.
He's faking.
Oh, okay.
They're faking it.
He's faking his
Yeah.
control.
Khan left them behind on purpose.
to
And they're
attempt
still
to-
under
Yeah,
his
they're
control.
plants,
Yeah, they're
basically.
plants.
Darmok and Jalad
At Tanagra.
At Tanagra.
Paul Winfield, another actor who benefited from his association with Star Trek, appeared on The Next Generation.
When the walls fell.
Hey, you want
One
to
of the
make
most
this,
memorable TNG
That's right.
episodes.
Yeah, that is a classic, pure Star Trek
Yes.
episode.
You want to make this this particular bit a little more creepy? Make it that they are the ones who tortured and killed the crew.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
would have been
Or they were
very
in on
dark.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Couldn't do that to Chekov, though.
No.
Too much baggage to carry in the future.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Boop, 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 boop. You see one transporter room, you see them all, you can operate them all.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't feel like the set design or even the console design is something like I would say, oh, that's from the 80s.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
whereas the original series, like, oh, that's from the 60s.
well, yeah. I mean, from the 60s, this is like, this could be, as far as I'm concerned, it could be from the 80s. If it's from the 90s, like I said before, Windows. You got Windows somehow.
Yes.
Digital displays.
Right.
You know. Blinking lights like that in the background, I don't see you don't think you see anymore on science fiction films.
Right.
Random blinking,
Oh,
beeping, and
random
blimping,
blinking.
and beeping,
Yeah,
and
that was
blinking. Oh my
big.
god! Oh my god!
That was big up until the 90s.
Yep.
Kirk's using the original communicators.
Oh. Spock is exaggerating.
He's lying.
Right now.
He's exaggerating.
It's
He's
code.
exaggerating.
You don't think he has to go to like Vulcan confession for exaggerating?
Oh, he's
do
at
you?
peace with himself.
That's
You
right.
know,
That's right.
humans
The
stretch the
human
truth.
He's been,
We tell little white lies.
he's chilling.
Again, he's speaking in code. This is the only reason he's getting a leg over on Khan.
And do you think he knows that Chekov and the other guy are in cahoots, so he won't?
I don't
think so.
know. I don't think he does at
He
this
won't
point.
reveal the trick
He
to them?
seems genuinely surprised when it happens, especially with Chekov.
He's a Chekov. I love this bit right here
Yeah.
coming up.
Nicholas Meyer has a great sense of humor.
Yep.
Get away from it all.
You'll never get tired of that one.
No.
Cranky old man. And cue the purple light.
By the way, that's one character Abrams and gang nailed down was McCoy.
Yeah.
They nailed him down.
No purple. Now it's reddish.
Carl
Oh, at the
Urban
end it's
was
purple.
great.
I see.
Now, we've said this before. The casting was not the problem of the Abrams film.
Right. It was other things.
Other things, many other things, which we'll talk about in 2020.
Right.
And now they're down in the planet. In some kind of cave, I guess.
They're in the tunneled out cave in Regular One.
There's the prop, the big triangular prop that was inside Khan's Botany Bay, which this one's all cleaned up.
That's the Genesis device.
Where is the Genesis device?
Well, that's the Genesis torpedo.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh, they heard something. Oh! Hi, Dad. I'm going to kill you.
Kill you.
David
you,
had
Dad.
no chance.
Seriously, he's trying to shank him?
Happy Father's Day, Dad. I'll kill you.
Need a break. He's going to try to fight Kirk.
Yeah, you wussy. I was
just
going to light
beat
up
my
my
By the way,
son.
it's a nice touch on the packaging in the back. It says United Federation of Planets, San Francisco.
I never noticed that either. God.
I just noticed that now.
Yeah.
That's a nice touch.
Child beater.
Oh, shut up, dude.
Yeah, seriously.
Shut up, Wesley.
He's like one of those don't trust anybody over 30 hippies.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Now we know that Chekov and what's-his-face are still under his control.
Terrell. Captain
Captain
Terrell.
Terrell.
He's the captain from Terminator that gets shot, all right? That's all I know.
That's all you care
That's all
about.
I care.
That's all you know.
He showed him the scar on his hand, and then he punched him in the head, and now he went to shoot M16 and got shot. It happens. Buried alive. Whoa!
That's going to leave a mark.
That was an unusual
Phaser on kill.
disintegration thing
Yeah.
we've never seen before.
No, it's a cool one.
With
It
the
was a good one.
screaming and the...
Yeah.
I'll wait till Terrell does himself in. That's even cooler.
Didn't see it in the first one.
No.
No, there was nothing like that in the
The
first
first
one.
one
There-
was
no
the
phasers were
transporter
fired.
accident, the worst thing
Yeah,
we
there
saw.
weren't any phasers fired.
Here
in the
we
first
have
one.
the ear and the firing and...
I had this phaser as a toy though when it came out for the motion picture. and
Oh, okay.
It was a squirt gun,
Oh, wow.
but it was the exact look.
That's cool.
I'm sure it got you lots of dates.
I was hot with the 7-year-old set, man.
Yeah.
Still rocking it. Bieber style. Ah, my ears!
Walter Koenig is going to scream again soon.
He's got it. It's in his contract, dude.
Well, they give him an extra $500 for every time he
Yeah.
screams.
Couldn't he set it to stun?
Kind of
That
matte
was really well
lined there.
All right, cue Walter.
So what's the implication that because the bug's coming out, he didn't have enough time to kill himself, or that he didn't want to kill himself?
Yeah, I don't know what that. means.
Well, I guess at a certain
Yeah.
point they outgrow.
Bug out of the ear.
He was supposed to wrap himself around the cerebral cortex.
Yeah. which
Why does
should
he
have
come
killed
out?
him.
Yeah, why did he
Should've
come
had-
out?
There, another shot right there. Classic shot of Kirk shooting down. Creature looks like something out of Dune.
Now
Oh,
he's
here
pissed.
we go.
Now he's pissed.
This is the highlight reel.
Nanny,
Demo
nanny,
reel.
nanny,
This is-
I'm still alive.
This is the scene.
You bloodsucker. He taunts me. Still alive.
I remember when Montalban died and Shatner did a little bit on him on YouTube from his website, and he did the
Con.
yeah, and I was like, dude, just you can't. Every time they ask him to do it, it sounds so stupid.
Yeah, it was a moment in time. And
Yeah.
leave it there.
And
The best is when Spike TV gave the original cast an award like 3 or 4 years ago, and he made the whole crowd do it. That was fun.
That was cool.
I have hurt you.
I love when he's
And
like
he steals the Genesis device.
Yeah, he's totally like,
orgasmic.
yeah. He's totally getting off on it.
Yeah.
So he got away, but he managed to steal the torpedo.
Right. Well, he's daring him to bring him up.
Yeah, come and get me.
Yeah. No, but why? Here's a little bit. Why would Khan have to come down? He's baiting him. He wants to maybe have a physical confrontation with him.
That's the only leverage he has.
Right.
He
Yes.
cannot control his emotional
He's so
hatred of him.
Right. He's so passionately
Right. It overtakes
enraged.
his logic and his intelligence. And he doesn't even know that kid's his son. If he knew that.
He knows.
He knows now. Once he said, "I'm Dr. Marcus," he knew he was his son. He
Yes,
said,
he
"Is
said,
that
"Is that
David?
David?"
Is that David?"
No,
That's
I'm
always
talking-
been a
I'm talking
debate.
about Khan.
Khan has
doesn't
no
know.
Because if
idea.
he knew,
No.
then he would have leverage
Oh,
over
There it
it.
is.
Kill him.
There
Oh,
it is.
he had the Khan. Khan.
There's always been debate in fandom about when Kirk knew about David.
Because he said, "Is that him?" You know.
Yeah, I think he's probably known about David since he was born.
I wish I knew.
Yeah,
at this
I
time.
agree. I agree with that.
But his mother wanted him.
Yeah.
So she wanted to raise him away from Kirk, and that was it.
Not galloping around the cosmos with his father.
Yep. I also wanted to point out something about this movie was released in 1982. 1982 might be the best year ever for a geek.
But
Absolutely.
the worst year for individual films.
What do you mean?
Because we talked about 1982 before. It was the kiss of death for most science fiction because
of E.T.?
everybody was competing with everybody.
Right.
Tron, Blade Runner, Star Trek
Well,
2, E.T.
But some films were successful.
Yes.
Others saw their success later in
Right.
in cable and video.
Tron.
The Thing, those films.
But it
Even
was-
Blade
Blade
Runner.
Runner
But
was
it
a
was
huge
one of
bomb.
these years, similar to possibly maybe this year or even next year, where you blink and you miss the movie.
Right.
Because every week in
They're
the summer,
jockeying
you
for
had
a
a new
weekend.
film that would then overtake the previous week.
Absolutely.
E.T. obviously killed everybody.
Oh yeah, if you
E.T.
were
slaughtered.
if you were in any proximity, 2 weeks before, 2 weeks after, you got destroyed.
Right.
By
This
E.T.
came out before E.T.
Yeah, this came out in April.
Conan, the
No,
thing.
it
Conan.
came out in June.
Oh, you're right. It did come out in June. E.T. When did E.T. come out?
I think maybe
July?
a few weeks later.
Maybe.
But it gave this movie enough time to make its money before it got crushed.
Right.
Every week something else was coming out. It's great for fans. It's awful for the films.
Well, I mean, that's not the only reason why it was crushed, but Star Trek V came out in 1989, was a huge summer. Batman,
Indy.
Indiana Jones, Ghostbusters 2, even Lethal Weapon 2.
I don't
Not a
think
geek film,
you
but
can defend
That's
Star
a geek
Trek
film.
5
Yeah, it's a geek film.
in the same way that
Star
you can
Trek V could have made
defend
more money.
It
a
might have made
Battle-
another 10 million.
10
Blade
million,
Runner,
which still would have
or-
put it
All
underneath.
right,
or
all
something
right,
like
all
that.
right, all
We're talking
right.
about other
Good
problems.
But no, 82.
Batman for the most part sucked all the air out of the
But
room.
82
Yeah.
was huge.
Yeah.
And forget about the important adult, the Gandhis
I can't even
and
remember
stuff like
what,
that.
what else
That was
came
a
out.
great year for the
Genre alone, sci-fi, adventure, fantasy was amazing. Half those films are being remade now.
Yeah, the Thing prequel is coming soon.
That was a hell of a year. 82 was a really good year. Mm-hmm. 48 Hours came out that year.
48 hours. I would have to say that Star Trek 2, it comes out, it's getting me interested. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm watching this. I saw this in the theater with my dad again, but I liked it. I didn't fall asleep on it. And then when it came on cable, I watched it every day. So that by the time, and then I started watching the original series because then they had Space Seed on. I
Yep.
saw Trek 2 before I saw Space Seed. So my dad said, well, maybe you want to watch Space Seed to see what was going on. And that kind of hooked me into the original series.
That's how I did it.
And then by the time Star Trek 3 comes along, I'm hooked.
Yeah, this was my
Completely
first Trek film in the theater. And right now we're getting more exposition about their relationship, why They're where they
And
are.
Walter is lying there saying, "I hate you, Bill. I hate you so much."
I'm always in pain and my ears bleeding. My brain is turned to mush. Thanks, Bill. We're going back again to the theme of getting older.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, he's
reminding us of immortality and all that stuff.
And he's found out he has this. Well, he knows
a fully grown.
he has a
son,
fully grown son who he knows nothing about, has no relationship with.
which he's rethinking his life all of a sudden.
Right, exactly. He is.
But he can't give it up.
Oh no,
Like he
yeah. Faced with the same decision, I think he would do what he did.
Well, there's that scene in Generations when he goes, I was so obsessed with duty that I couldn't see past my own uniform, and all
Right.
it got me was an empty house.
Right.
He's like a pirate.
He's a
the
career
sea
man.
is my lady.
He's a career man.
Yeah.
Kirk is a career man.
And you know, you
This
can
is all he
translate that
wants.
into contemporary life. People who get involved in certain careers to the detriment of their marriages and
Yeah, that's him.
all relationships. Yeah,
Now we're
doesn't
being
make them bad
shown
people.
The the result of a partial result of the Genesis device.
I don't believe Nick Meyer likes how this looks.
I think this came out pretty badly.
Yeah.
myself.
Genesis Cave, I think. They
The Genesis
call it.
Yeah,
Cave.
the matte paintings they used were not very good.
No,
Now didn't they tweak it a little?
I don't know
think
what
so.
that is. I have no idea what that is.
some
Yeah,
kind of
that's
a
a little
shiny
rough.
waterfall.
The background does not match the foreground.
No, it doesn't.
Well.
It's very poor.
It's like a rear projection almost.
yeah, that's
And
bad.
I guess they're showing you.
That looks like
you know-
Middle Earth.
Now,
Yeah.
didn't they say that this was like phase 1 of the Genesis experiment, the
Yes.
underground
Yes.
experiment?
Correct.
Before you go to phase 2, which is the
Yep.
full-blown planet
Yep.
surface. Now, Khan is noticing that the Enterprise is not there. And he's getting angry again.
This is a great scene.
Yeah.
This sums up Kirk
Right.
in a nutshell.
Savik is asking him about the Kobayashi Maru.
And this is him.
Yeah,
This is
how
who he is.
um,
How he commands.
yeah, how did he survive? How did he pass the test?
Mm-hmm.
Which again, this goes back to the Abrams film. They wanted to redo this sequence, not the sequence, but the
They
history,
didn't do it well,
They
though.
didn't
the
do it
history
well.
of it, which I really enjoyed.
No, you didn't.
And here we hear it directly from him how he
Yeah.
passed the test. And how did he pass the test, Steve?
He cheated.
What?
The truth was, though, he's faced death a million times in
course.
the original series. So, I mean, that was just a conceit to make the film work. But the truth was that the character had...
He never gives up.
No, but he had to deal with dead crew members. His brother died. I mean, he
So
Yeah.
like you said, it's a concept that's introduced in the beginning of the film. and
It's a
now you
conceit
get
for
little-
only for the
and
film.
you get a payoff.
Yeah.
It,
Right.
It links it to the beginning
Right.
now of him. You know his.
And you see the lengths. It's another in the subsequent film in Star Trek 3. Destroys the Enterprise.
Right.
You know, he's willing to go to whatever lengths he has to go to.
To win. And now she learns of the fact that everybody was Spock was exaggerating,
Spock was totally BSing.
Yep.
and she doesn't understand how he could have done that because they're Vulcan; they can't lie.
This film sails along. I mean, we're at a moment. We're
We're getting near the end already.
Yeah. It just goes so
And it's the
quickly.
director's cut.
And it's the director's cut.
It
has a
it
brisk
moves.
pace. It really does.
as opposed to the other one that it's
Here comes another piece.
I love this piece.
Right here.
the gerbil maze.
That young man is my son.
Fascinating. I love how he
Oof.
delivers that line. It's just dripping with sarcasm.
Yeah, whatever.
It's like, really, seriously?
Yeah.
I can't believe you fathered a child out of wedlock.
Well, yeah, what are the odds?
That's so unlike you.
I wonder how many kids
I wonder how
Kirk has
many
all over.
are out
Oh,
there.
my God.
Or maybe birth control has really been refined in the 23rd
The
century.
first of well, he's allergic to contacts, so
That's right.
he's
Retinax
probably
5. Maybe he
allergic
sterilized
to
him.
prophylactics. Yeah, those are things they never discuss: bathrooms and reproduction.
Well, they just did the bathroom. They acknowledged that there are bathrooms on the Enterprise. I think Meyer threw that in on purpose. You know, these guys
when you gotta
have
go,
bodily
you gotta go.
functions.
Where?
What?
Where do you say that?
When before when Spock says they're inoperative below sea deck, bathrooms.
Is that what he said?
Yeah. You
no,
never noticed
he was
that?
walking. No, he was walking to a turbo lift, dude.
I think that's the bathroom.
No, that's why they ended up taking the freaking the
Oh, the ladder?
ladders.
Yeah, I thought that was the bathroom.
No,
we will
dude.
have to examine that
No,
afterwards.
are you kidding? You're bullshitting me.
No.
No, dude, that's because the lifts are down.
Yeah, here come the plumbers to clear the clogs, right?
All these
right,
years,
Steve?
I thought
what,
it was the
what movie
the
are you
crapper.
watching?
Captain, the
Wow.
shitter is inoperative.
Damn.
We have to revoke his Stallone license and his Star
I
Trek
love
license.
this. I love this bit.
This is nice. This
all
is
right.
typical
The
ship.
Enterprise crew
Yeah.
being called to battle.
It's opening the ports, the hatches,
Yeah.
ready to launch.
I guess I lost my Star Trek street cred with
No,
that.
Wow.
it's, you had it once.
You
and
really
then,
thought he was going in the can to take a leak?
What he was.
oh my!
It makes it a lot funnier
He's
if
going to
that's
lay
what
a
he's
captain's
doing.
log.
Captain's log. Oh, I can't.
I love that.
There she is. Look at that scar in his chest.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
I can't believe that. That's
All
funny.
right, all right.
I'm sorry. No,
It's okay.
it's funny actually. I get a kick out of it.
I've been outed.
It's the gospel of Star Trek, according to Steve.
Wow, it had to happen on a commentary.
Yeah, now it's saved
Ooh,
for posterity.
here we
No,
go.
really, seriously,
They're going
30
into
years
Nebula.
from now. I'm going to listen to this.
This is the real cat and mouse now.
Yeah. They're going into the nebula.
They're going to play peekaboo. Well, listen.
I
the
saw
last film we had
orifices.
orifice.
Now we have penetration.
And now we have penetration. So we're working our way towards a certain theme here. I wonder what comes in Star Trek 3.
Explained it to
Oh
me.
no, I just saw Montalban nipple. I feel disturbed.
It's a cool shot.
Oh no.
Yep.
I hope they missed. Ooh.
A little.
I guess the shield got it.
I don't know if it went between the nacelle and
Looks like
the...
it did.
Yeah.
Something
it
hit
missed.
them.
This is also a new line.
Yep.
The human ego. Shot of Kirk. Whoa, his
Extra
hair
perm. Extra
is
perm
very
on that.
froey.
Yeah,
He needs a little jerry curl on that bad boy.
Have some soul glow.
I think that was
Some
the...
soul glow.
I think that was the last new scene of the director's cut.
Yeah.
That little bit.
Uh-oh.
Our shields would be useless. You fool.
So
Khan looks like...
they basically
Alright.
can go in there, but they can't raise their shields.
Right.
There are no shields. Yeah, your shields are automatically
inoperative.
offline.
Because of they said because their shields. They can still raise them, they said, but they can't because they go in the nebula.
Right, it doesn't matter. The shields and sensors don't work in there.
Ooh, he's taunting him, making fun of his intellect. Uh-oh. He's losing it. Full power! I'll do it myself. Give me. Boop, 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 boop. Where's Tattoo when you need him? Tattoo would not
Oh,
question
Tattoo.
my orders.
He would listen.
He'd just do it if he could reach the console. The Montalban.
Now the suspense really gets ramped up.
Yep. Now we get into the submarine movie.
Oh boy. They're entering and everybody gets jolted forward.
Kirk forgot to pay the
Lord,
bill.
that bridge
And
is
now we
a
go
mess.
back to normal lighting.
Yeah, the Enterprise is a mess. And
I'm surprised it doesn't have like a trail of smoke behind it.
Well, they say it's a 20-year-old ship, but it's really, if you're going by canon, it's a 30-year-old ship, according to the cage and the timeline.
Because this is not a new ship, right? This is a retrofitted
This is a refitted ship.
classic.
Yeah, it's the
Enterprise.
original Enterprise, refit. So it's been overhauled, but it's an old ship.
Didn't he just tell him he can't raise the shield? Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, you don't listen to him. How dare you?
He gets a little pissy.
I told you,
I'm
old
telling you,
man.
only his son could talk to him like that.
I told you to raise the shield. I like the lightning effect too. That helps with the. Look at that.
Yeah, I love it.
They're right on top of each other. Was that sound almost kind of like the? Remember the clang? I almost thought I heard the clang from the
I don't
first
think
film.
so.
Mm,
May sound similar.
Oh,
yeah, here
the
we
Enterprise is
go.
coming up behind the Reliant,
Love it.
sneaking up on it. Now the trick is they don't have too much control of
He
the
has to
phasers.
manually,
He has to kind of
They're
align
fire
himself
blind,
behind
right.
it.
He's saying best guess.
Oh, you missed. Oh, you missed again.
Yep. And they missed too.
Pew! And torpedoes going backwards, and they missed the Enterprise. Yeah, they can barely see anything. Nice shot of the silhouette of the lightning in front of the ship. And they're just all waiting for a shot.
I don't think this is going to end well.
I think it's going to be Khan's turn to take a pounding. And there they are. There you go. That's another iconic shot. Turning of the chair.
Yep.
And
Yeah, they both get their licks in.
the Enterprise gets another side shot from the opposite direction, I guess.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, now
Nice.
they're broadsiding each other.
Very nice. And Reliant gets hit on the bridge itself.
On the bridge.
Very crippling shot.
Never understood why the bridge was so exposed on these ships.
Oh, yeah. I mean, from a tactical standpoint, yeah.
Come
I
on,
mean,
seriously?
You
let's
figure
put it in the most exposed area. The command deck should be in the most exposed
Khan is
possible
Right.
area of the ship.
Khan's picking up chunks of metal with his superhuman strength. Scotty is about to pass out. There he goes.
He's got to stop drinking on the job.
He just called him his name.
Yep.
Yakim.
Yakim.
Yeah. I shall avenge you.
And now he loses his crew member, which
Basically, everybody's dead.
to us, he's just another crew member, but he might have been his son for all we know,
Yeah.
depending on the
I think
script
that was
and
the
novel.
implication. Get Walter back on the bridge.
With a slight headache, probably. Yes, Captain. What did you say? I can't hear it in his ear. It's a little clogged.
I love all the strategizing in this scene.
And it's simple. You
Yeah.
know, it's not super like, our dilithium matrix has been
Yeah, it's not a
compromised
lot
on
of
the fourth
technobabble.
quarter of the. No, it's.
It's a submarine.
I can't
battle.
see him. I got to shoot. He's over
He's
there.
over there. But here's where they do him in. The notion that it's a naval battle.
Yeah, Khan only thinks in 2 dimensions. So.
Right. Kirk is up to something. And it's kind of like a traditional submarine battle now where everybody has to get quiet.
Yep.
You're not dealing with pings, sonar here,
Right.
but it's
Nobody has to whisper.
the soundtrack is purposely quiet, and you can kind of
Yep.
see the ships are starting to kind of align themselves to a certain area, and something is about to happen. Now, Khan has practically no crew left.
I don't think he's got anybody.
He's like the
left.
only one left there, and
On the bridge, at least.
yeah, I don't know what else he can do from the
I think-
bridge.
what did he have? Maybe
But the
30
Enterprise
people?
is about to sneak up behind them
That sneaky Jim Kirk.
and unload on them. And this time they're going to shoot torpedoes at him, which
Why
they haven't
not,
done
you
yet.
know?
They've only been able to hit him with phasers. And they're starting to get a clear picture of who's in front of them.
They gotta send in their TV repairman. This is
Yeah,
terrible.
seriously.
Yeah, it must be Comcast.
Rabbit ears.
And away torpedoes, direct hit to the
It's end of that
Reliant.
model.
Boom! Whatever
They got a
crew was
lot of
left is
mileage out of
getting
that model, though.
Yeah, they
totaled. They hit the middle of the ship. There's the engines.
Yeah.
There goes one
of the
engine
cells.
flying off.
And there goes Khan.
And whoever was left on the bridge is practically dead right now.
They really burned that setup, man.
Mm-hmm.
What a mess. Yeah, it's not
The
looking
ship is crippled and operating basically with one leg.
good. Yep.
It seems to be kind of circling in space.
Khan has one last ace up his sleeve.
Right. And
I
There
think
he is.
is crawling up from the floor to his throne. And he's a
he's a
piece
mess.
of hamburger.
He's a mess.
Eesh.
Now I wonder if audiences in '82, I mean, yes, they knew Spock was going to die, but I wonder if they were so swept up in what was happening on screen that they forgot that this was coming.
It's possible.
You know,
Because they might have thought that the story of Spock dying was a trick in the beginning, like you
Right.
said earlier.
You-
And he's not dying. It's just the beginning.
Yeah.
It looks like he's dying. But this is a tradition. I don't want to say traditional, but this is something that's used sometimes, which is the double ending.
right.
You think it's over, but no, we have one
We
more
have
little
one last thing to
twist
pull out.
for you. Something that I thought was a staple of Cameron, James Cameron, but
Right.
no, it's been done before.
Oh, sure. I always thought this was amusing.
Khan is
his-
setting up
his
the Genesis
line
device to do something,
Yeah, I mean, when you
To
just
activate
press a
or-
button type in a code,
self-destruct,
He's
or
got
something.
to kind of
he's got some sort of
touch
weird.
it.
It's very
thing.
reminiscent of Alien at the end of the
very
Alien
phallic.
film. There's
is.
these metal rings that have to be turned in order
Right.
to create the self-destruct mechanism on the Nostromo. Well, they seem to be doing a similar
Yeah,
one.
you're
here.
right. You're right.
For all we know, it could be leftover props.
right.
Wouldn't surprise me.
But that was Fox. This is Paramount.
Doesn't matter. All this stuff gets rented.
But it's a nice timer device. Where
Yeah,
you see
right. No,
rings,
no,
Has the
dramatic.
rings.
the rings
yeah.
becoming smaller and smaller.
It's
until
heightening the
last
tension.
one. There you go.
Uh-oh.
And there's the countdown. They have
1,000
1,000
seconds.
seconds, or a little faster than seconds, actually.
I love this music. I love this sequence.
Yeah, as soon as he arms the torpedo to the moment where the Reliant explodes,
Yeah.
the pacing is perfect.
Yeah. The tension is just palpable.
Wow. 4 minutes.
See, I don't understand why they can't go over with some phases and just destroy it.
Yeah.
You can't transport in the nebula?
No, he just...
Destroy the
Kirk was
ship, you
like,
mean?
be on board and stop it, and David's like, we can't. Well, why not?
I don't know if
What is it, like some
transporters
sort of
work
force
in the
field,
nebula.
maybe?
Oh, I don't know.
Is
Well,
there a
maybe
built-in
once
force field?
once the device is armed, it's like a point of no return kind of a
Yeah,
thing.
maybe.
And if you blow up the ship, the device just ignites
yeah.
quicker.
Right.
That's entirely possible.
Yep. Look at all that dry ice.
You know what I love
Now,
about this
have
sequence?
have they just said that something is damaged, I have to go fix it?
Spock says nothing. Spock just leaves.
But no message came from anywhere that
No.
he's needed?
No, well, Scotty
Well,
wasn't
Scotty
even
says
responding. Spock knew the situation was bad.
what I love about this is Kirk is almost resigned to their fate,
Yeah.
and it's Spock that saves the day. I love that.
Yep.
And it's not that I don't think that Kirk would sacrifice himself, but it's Spock is logical. He's like, okay, this is what I got to do. I am going to die.
Right.
I'm going to die, but I'm going to save everybody else.
And McCoy goes down. And here comes the hook for the next film.
And yeah, here's the insert shot. Now, I used to think that was an insert shot done later, but when you see Star Trek 3 and they're reviewing, Sarek and Kirk are reviewing the
isn't it
footage.
a two-shot?
It's a two-shot.
Yeah.
And he does it to McCoy
And
in
was
the
that two-shot shot now?
That was shot, yeah.
But they
Yeah.
decided not
Yeah.
to use it here.
They did just
They just did
opted,
the hand.
They just did the close-up on the hand.
I see.
So, I mean, they had it in their minds
Yeah.
when they shot the scene.
And if they never made another sequel, they could have gotten away with it. too,
yeah,
'cause
it
it's
would have
very
been
minor.
fine. Yeah,
it's a very minor.
If they never made another one, he just
Or
would
they
have been
made
dead.
one without Leonard Nimoy.
Can you imagine?
Well, if you
Although
think about
you
the
can
third
get away
film,
with making movies without Spock, you can't do them without Kirk.
but the
Right.
third film alone, the guy doesn't show up till the end.
Yeah, but the
But you knew
payoff
he
is
was
he
coming.
comes back.
And you knew he was
The
coming.
purpose
You
of the
can't call the
movie
movie
is-
The Search for Spock and not have him come back.
The search for what's his face.
And Spock is directing the film.
Yeah, and even though Leonard Nimoy is not in the opening credits, it's like he's come on.
It could have been.
seriously?
It could have been the search for Decker.
Yeah.
The Search for V'ger.
Yep. See, Kirk is like, we're finished. He's like, nothing I can do.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to have anything.
No, he's
up
got
his
nothing.
sleeve.
No more
He's
tricks
like-
up his sleeve.
Well, if you can't move any faster.
Yeah.
Well, his only trick is moving. Just keep moving, keep moving. Game over, man. Well, he's not gloom and doom, but
Well, Kirk has to know that by doing what Spock is doing, you can. But if he ordered someone to do it, he knows he's ordering them to their deaths.
he didn't do it.
But he didn't do it.
I wonder if he's wondering, where did Spock go?
At this point, no, I don't think so.
You don't even realize it.
I don't know.
And that's another thing I love. That I don't think he knows that Spock is gone. I think he's too wrapped up in what's going on.
Well, I spit my last breath. And he's dead.
And he's dead.
Goodbye.
Thanks
It's a
for
shame.
playing.
It's in a way. It's a shame that Khan didn't get to see the Enterprise get away, though.
No. The ultimate.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Yeah, he's assuming Scotty did it.
Right.
And boom. Let's
Nice-
see
nice
if they can
explosion.
get away. There goes the Reliant. And the Genesis device.
Yeah.
And Khan, he went bye-bye.
And Khan and his crew.
And you already see the outline of a planet.
There's
forming.
some rings forming, which seem to be indicating the shockwave, I guess.
Yeah, I would guess so.
This is before they went all
Yeah,
crazy
pieces of
with
the nebula.
with the
are
other
still there.
kind of shockwaves. Oh, wow. This is pretty subtle. I thought it was more dramatic, them getting away from the wave. It's kind of like we did it.
Yeah. How wild would it be to see something like that? A planet
You
coming
can
together.
imagine. Millions of years of evolution in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you something. I was a little disappointed in how they handled the planet in the third film. It's almost like an Alien 3 thing where you build something.
I'm sorry, did
beautiful-
you just acknowledge that Alien 3 exists?
It's because it destroys itself. The fact that you build something so nice here and then you take a crap on it the next movie.
But
wish-
I think in the what they did with the Genesis planet in the third movie serves the story.
it's part of
Yeah.
the story, but
Yeah.
it's like so much work that went into that.
Yeah, but you know what, though? It does open up a can of worms if you have a device like this.
Yes. That
This
it
is a
actually
mega
got
weapon.
to that
It's a mega
stage.
weapon.
Yeah, it
Because
is a
then
mega
future
weapon.
films could have been all about fighting over the.
Right. You had to get rid of it.
Now the question is also, the device exploded, but didn't the device need a planet?
I was thinking that
It just can't generate life out of complete nothingness.
Well, it must have pulled all the matter that was
from the nebula.
from the nebula. Yeah. Because you've seen that previous
and
shot.
is that the reason
There's all
why
sorts of stuff
maybe-
moving
Yep.
toward the globe.
Is it possible that's the reason why it didn't work?
No,
it is
it's
not.
not
well,
why.
no. David
No.
says that he
He wrote bad code.
Yeah, pretty
basically,
much.
into the Genesis matrix. That's what happened.
he sped the process along.
He used protomatter,
Right.
a dangerously unstable substance.
Sure.
Now, for my money, this
Gobbledygook.
is the best scene in all of Star Trek.
Yeah.
For my money, this is the most beautifully acted scene in the original series and any Star Trek.
Yeah.
And this was agreed upon since the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spock's, Nimoy's condition to doing this film was that this would happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nimoy and Leonard thought Star Trek was going to die, so he decided.
And he
Really?
said, "How would you like to have a beautiful death scene?" And that got his attention.
And he realized, even before he shot this, he realized he made a mistake.
Even though he gave himself an out with the remember.
Yeah. Because he said they could have gone anywhere they wanted after that.
I love how you can see his face in the reflection of the glass.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that on his hair.
Yeah.
You see it sideways. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's also creepy how he bangs his head on the
Yeah.
plexiglass. It's like, ooh,
I know
he's blind.
he's
It's like, oh,
finished.
crap.
Yeah, he's not looking at Kirk.
Yeah, he knows he's somewhere over there.
And I just love the fact that Shatner just gave him this scene. I mean, he just reacts. He says very little.
Yep.
Well, from Shatner's ego, from the condition that you're dying, you can have it.
Could be.
If you're
But
leaving this
If
franchise.
he knew they was going to come back, he might not have given it to
Maybe
him.
not. Maybe not. But Nimoy just plays this beautifully,
He does.
and I think Shatner does too.
Oh, yeah. This is beautifully done by both actors.
I actually asked Nimoy the question or I said to him at a convention when I was posing a question, how did you feel? I'm sure he's been asked this a million times. How did you feel when you were shooting this scene? What was going through your mind? And I threw in the comment that you and Mr. Shatner played it beautifully, and he looked at me and said, was he even there? Was Shatner there? Oh, he's just busting. But yeah, no.
And you couldn't put too much makeup effects on him because you still want to keep him somehow recognizable.
Right.
You couldn't do
But
like
you
that.
see
Clear
the
the
burns.
radiation
Right. Yeah,
burn.
you see the burns.
But you couldn't
It's
make
on his
him
hands too. You
Yeah.
see it on his hands too.
You can't make him look like Khan, like
No, you
Hamburger
don't
Man.
want. You don't
Yeah.
want to disturb the audience that badly.
Right.
They're already disturbed enough.
He knows. They know he's dying. And I love the fact that Shatner can't do the Vulcan salute.
And it's not a very dramatic, sprawled out death. It's
Yeah,
very subtle.
It's very subtle
and soft.
Everything from this moment on, the performance that Shatner is delivering from this moment on is so subtle.
Yeah.
And I think he plays it so beautifully from here to the funeral to the scene with David. It's just
And that's his best work. Period.
I think
It's some of his best work,
Some of
yeah.
his best work, absolutely. And just the hint of emotion that he gives as he's delivering the eulogy. I mean, it's chilling. It's not like he blubbers or anything. He's holding it in, but I just love it.
And this particular scene, I guess he said, "Our honored dead," meaning I guess this is a procedure they're going through with.
Well,
most
I guess
of
they're
their-
having other funerals
'cause
too.
the
But
rest
this
of
is
the
the
dead,
biggest.
from
A
the
lot of
attack.
people died.
And McCoy's back to his uniform.
Uniform.
His dress uniform. A very memorable Shatner line coming up.
Yeah.
And
Human. He almost loses it.
Yeah, but what he's saying, Spock could perceive it as the ultimate insult, but
Right.
he's really paying him the highest compliment.
Yeah, yeah.
And I love the dichotomy of that.
And even Savick is
She's holding
somewhat
back a tear.
emotional,
She's
which
crying.
which is very unlike them.
Well, she's half
to
Romulan.
do
She's half
that.
Romulan.
He's half Romulan.
And even
But
though it's
he
not-
was her mentor.
right, even though it's not expressly stated, Spock was a mentor. Yeah.
Again, I wish they would have more aliens because the crew is
Too human?
too lily, not
It is
lily
too
white,
human.
but
He's
Federation.
close.
There's an
Right.
Oriental guy right
More
there.
too human.
Human.
Human again. Here we go. That's why Shatner was crying. It's the crew is too
Human.
human. Music.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very good. And this is almost like an epilogue.
It's kind of sad that so much got just in Star Trek 3, Kirk's son dies, the Enterprise is killed. The fact that there's the beginnings of a relationship between these two, and then he's just killed in the third one.
In a way, like I said, it's kind of like the planet. The planet is born, and you
And
gotta
then
kill it right.
You gotta kill someone. If
Okay.
you're gonna bring back Spock, you got some heavy casualties to endure.
All they went through to get his son to appear, and then you get rid of him. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, I
I
understand
think that's
why.
another one that they just didn't want to have the baggage.
And it served the character in Star Trek 6.
Yes, it did. It
his
started in 3
animosity
too. I
towards
mean,
the
he was
Klingons.
pretty,
It
Yeah.
brings him back more towards the angry guy.
Yeah.
He's an angry guy. He's got anger issues.
We'll talk about this when we eventually get to Star Trek 3, but I think the way he played David's death scene was beautifully done.
agreed.
I love the fact Kirk here is realizing that there's consequences. He's cheated death, tricked his way out of death, but never faced it like this. Never faced it with a real consequence. I mean, he's lost crew members before, but he's never lost.
Right.
Lost his brother.
Yeah. But it wasn't the loss of his brother. It's not that he hasn't endured loss before, but in the context of command.
Yeah, yeah.
And this time around, he's not admitting it as a result of Spock or even McCoy.
He's
talking
admitting it to himself.
to his son, who's practically a stranger to him.
Right.
And he's opening
And
up to
he's
him,
opening
which is
up,
very odd.
saying, I for all my experience, I know nothing. And he's learned something profound.
Right.
And going through the themes of aging and mortality, and it's saying that you can still learn things at 40, 50, 60 years old.
And Marcus is kind of reaching out to him.
Yeah,
You know,
he
he's,
is.
He's
I love
offering
that.
an olive
Yeah,
branch.
The
She
fact
offers
that,
the olive
yeah,
branch.
which says, "I'm proud to be your son."
And
And this uncomfortable embrace,
Right, as
it's
awkward
just-
as it is.
it's awkward, but it's brilliant.
it's the best he could do, you know,
Yeah. You know, it's the beginnings of a relationship.
which you then
I'm
stumble
never gonna
over.
get to.
A la Alien 3.
Which happened.
And I don't dislike it.
Alien 3? You don't
Star Trek
dislike Alien 3?
Star Trek 3!
Excuse me.
Star Trek 3! Damn it.
I'm be doing an audio commentary for that by myself.
Yeah, definitely by yourself.
Actually, no. Maybe Rob will do it with me. Can I have your equipment? Can you let me borrow it?
Nobody touches my equipment except Mrs. Perone.
Is she going to be listening to this?
I doubt it. We're lucky if we get anybody to listen to this. Who the hell we
We're
get?
lucky if any three of us listen to this.
I'll listen to it.
I'll
I'll
give it
listen
a
to
shot.
this every day.
And here's the goodbye
It's
shot.
really not dead.
As long as we're... That's so true, though.
Yeah, it really is.
Or until the next sequel. Maybe a little too many endings. A little too Lord of the Ring, like ending after the
no,
ending
not
after
like
the
Lord of
ending
the Rings.
after the ending.
No,
No?
you know what? This is a coda. This is, you
Yeah.
know, all right.
Little
We've
extra,
lost
little-
just a little piece.
Little bonus.
Yeah.
And yeah, well, he feels young now. He feels good.
Which should scare every woman in the quadrant.
Here we have a
And if they would have ended the series here, it would have been fine.
Well, yeah.
I mean, lucky for us, they
Lucky
haven't.
for us, they didn't.
But this is a good ending, even with the little
Yeah.
thing they're going to give us now at the end.
Yeah. Well, they're
Which was
leaving.
not
They're leaving.
originally intended to be
Nick
there.
Meyer did not shoot this.
This was Paramount
This was Harv
shot it.
Bennett.
going down to the planet.
They
that was
went to
just
some
created.
park
In
somewhere.
San Francisco. I think they went to somewhere in San Francisco, yeah.
I mean, look, it's science
Now,
fiction. You got to leave the door
Do
open.
you do this once you realize you have a good film on your hands, or they shot this just in case it
No,
was
they
a good
realized that
They realized
they had a
it.
good film in their hands and they were about to bring the film down if they didn't, right?
Yeah. They wanted to give the fans a little bit of hope.
film? Wow, these caskets do not disintegrate through the atmosphere.
Well,
They
you know,
just
the
softly
generation,
land.
the gravitational fields were in flux,
Right.
and it soft landed.
Retcon,
That's right.
baby,
That's what they said in
retcon.
the third one.
Sell
Not
it,
a retcon.
sell it.
Not
That's
a
not a
retcon.
retcon. That's in 3. They actually said
That's
it.
what.
That's comedy fact.
That's Genesis. Planet was just kind of
Getting itself
percolating,
Percolate.
and Nimoy saying the I love this. Shatner had to be a little pissed about
Because
this.
the first one had none of the
No, it didn't.
intros, right? None of
No.
these
No.
audio intros.
I
In fact,
love.
this is the only original cast movie that
now,
does face
how
the Final
did
Frontier.
he get away?
No, they say it in Star Trek 3. I'm pretty sure.
I don't think so.
Yeah, they do.
How
Right.
did Nimoy get away
When
with
they
with
open
doing
up the
this?
film, and they do
Right,
this.
they do this again.
They do this
Right.
again
You're right.
How did Nimoy get away with doing this?
because he died.
Because Spock died. And,
For
it's,
all,
and it's a little tip off that Spock is not really
Yeah.
dead.
for all we know, Shatner had no knowledge of this.
I'm just thinking Shatner would probably not been too happy about
Yeah,
it.
but again, they could have been like, "It's not in your contract that you have to do it."
Yeah.
How did you guys, when you saw this, react? When I saw this, I was 9 when this came out, and I didn't understand at the end with Spock's tube on the Genesis planet and the voiceover. I didn't realize that was kind of a tip off that Spock may not really be dead. And I remember walking out of that movie. I saw the old RKO Keith in Flushing,
Okay.
one of the last movie palaces. And I was walking down the street with my parents. And my father saw I was all like depressed, and he goes, "Don't worry, Brian. I have a feeling Spock's going to be back soon."
Well, I was 12 when this came out, so I guess I kind of felt like there was a possibility. I saw this at the Belrose Theater with my dad, where I saw Star Trek: The Motion Picture. It was a second run theater, and you know we saw it. The movie had been out for 2 or 3 months. My dad wasn't in any hurry, but he wanted me to go with him, and I went. And you know, I got the sense that they were leaving the door open. Yeah.
Exactly. I couldn't imagine that they would have done it in the way they did it.
Yeah.
You know, a whole movie that leads up to the ending of the the reveal in
Right.
3. But yeah, something didn't just put a stamp at the end that this is over. It's kind of like something's weird about the end.
Yeah.
And not necessarily that he's going to hop out of the casket.
Right.
And, I'm back, everybody. But that something is going to happen now.
And you know what? All the stars aligned in terms of, I think without realizing it, they wrote in the guts of Star Trek 2 are the seeds of his resurrection in Star Trek 3. I mean, with the whole concept of the Genesis planet and, being reborn and whatever, and then just adding in the Vulcan mysticism for his soul aspect.
The remember.
Yeah. You're reuniting the physical and the metaphysical, or the body and the soul. Right. And the Vulcan culture lends itself to that metaphysical stuff. So if I remember correctly, again referencing the novel, which the novel for Star Trek 3, the film doesn't start until about 100 pages into it.
That's both novels too.
Wow.
Yeah, really good.
And I remember Sarek referencing something called the Hall of Ancient Consciousness, and what he's saying in Star Trek 3 to Kirk is, we want his soul back. He's not thinking that they can resurrect his body. They're just saying, we want you to bring his soul back to Vulcan so we can put it in this place where all our great thinkers,
where Spock can live,
his
consciousness can live.
Okay.
In sort of a mausoleum type situation. But it's just this added bonus that, he's on Genesis and his body can be rejuvenated.
Yeah, but nobody knew that.
Right.
And that goes toward the plot hole you and I discussed.
Major plot hole, which we'll get into. Star Trek 3.
Now, financially, how good?
Oh, this was a hit.
This was a hit.
You're talking about maximizing budget. It's a lower budget and a bigger profit.
Bigger turn. Yeah.
And when it opened, its opening weekend, it had the highest opening weekend gross of any movie in history.
Oh, really? Is that right?
Yeah. Yep.
And I believe they also went pretty nutty with the merchandising.
Oh, yeah.
No, this movie had almost no merchandising.
I think it had action figures.
Really? I think the figures.
I don't think so.
No.
Okay. After the first film, they kind of backed away.
Yeah, they got
Maybe
burned
they
on.
backed
I
away.
think they got burned on merchandising
Really?
in the first film, so they scaled back.
I think it's also worth noting DC Comics acquired the license for Star Trek after this film, and they started.
Wonderful.
They did an excellent series. The first writer was Mike Barr, and they spun right out of Trek 2. And what I found interesting, they didn't have a lot of time between when they started their series. I believe it was like issue 7 or 8 where Star Trek 3, they had to lead into Star Trek 3. Right. But they were already kind of phasing Scotty into the third banana role, like Kirk, McCoy, Scotty, kind of replacing Spock. And it was just kind of interesting to see how they were creating that dynamic.
They kept creating an alternate continuity, and they kept wedging the new movies into
yes, and they were very creative,
very clever about it. Yeah.
The series lasted a very long time. I think I have every issue.
Oh, that's easily the best run Star Trek had comic book form.
When Marvel got the license back in the 90s, it was crap.
It was pretty bad. There were a couple of interesting things, like the
Cage, the Pike series.
The Pike series and the Untold Voyages
one
with the second 5-year mission.
The second 5-year mission. Yeah.
That was a cool idea. But Marvel never understood what to do with Star Trek.
No.
Ever.
And they were the ones that made the X-Men crossover. Ugh.
Oh, God. The less we talk about that, the better. The return of Gary Mitchell.
Well, this was definitely a big improvement over the last film, I would say. It's a step. Not that the last one was bad, but this is a step up.
Oh, yeah, step in the right direction.
It's more of an action film, less of a thinking film.
Yep. And it was the first of a trilogy, even though they didn't design it that way.
Is that right?
Wow, cool.
So we'll see you again for Star Trek 3.
Yeah, this brings us to an end to Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan, the director's cut. And please join us again soon when we will jump to the next of the 6 Star Trek original films, Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. Now, didn't they release these as in a series of
only Star Trek
collector
1,
series
2,
or something
and
like that?
6 have extra. Yeah.
I see. Well, I'd like to thank Steve Vivona and Brian Drew for joining us once again on this special series. Thank you, gentlemen.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Yeah, our pleasure. Absolutely. This has been great.
Yeah. And we will see you again, hopefully in a few weeks, on Geekfest Rants.
Spock! Ship. Out of danger?
Yes.
Don't grieve, Admiral. It is logical. The needs of the many outweigh
The needs of the few.
or the one. I never took the Kobayashi Maru test until now. What do you think of my solution? Spock. I have been, and always shall be, your friend. Live long and prosper.